So you gotta pay attention and know the answers to different questions. If you don't pay attention now, you're not gonna know the answers. Alright, here we go.
Baked or fried, boiled or roasted, as chips or fries. Here might be probably eaten.
Sorry, it's not loud enough.
Baked or fried, boiled or roasted, as chips or fries. At some point in your life, you've probably eaten a potato. Delicious for sure, but the fact is, potatoes have played a much more significant role in our history than just that of the dietary staple we have come to know and love today. Without the potato, our modern civilization might not exist at all. 8,000 years ago in South America, high atop the Andes, ancient Peruvians were the first to cultivate the potato. Containing high levels of proteins and carbohydrates, as well as essential fats, vitamins, and minerals, potatoes were the perfect food source to fuel a large Incan working class as they built and farmed their terraced fields, mined the Rocky Mountains, and created the sophisticated civilization of the great Incan Empire. But considering how vital they were to the Incan people, when Spanish sailors returning from the Andes first brought potatoes to Europe, the spuds were duds.
Okay, real quick. So, potatoes originally started in South America. There was a group of people called the Inca Indians, and they started growing potatoes because potatoes were super healthy. One potato had everything they needed, right? So they used to grow a lot of potatoes. Then when the different explorers went to the Americas and discovered the Americas, they brought the potatoes back to Europe. And when they first brought the potatoes to Europe, nobody really liked the potatoes because they were ugly. A potato is not very pretty, right? So when they first brought them to Europe, nobody liked the potatoes.
Europeans simply didn't want to eat what they considered dull and tasteless oddities from a strange new land, too closely related to the deadly nightshade plant, belladonna, for comfort. So instead of consuming them, they used potatoes as decorative garden plants.
So they used the potatoes to decorate their houses.
Before the potato caught on as a major food source throughout Europe, though even then it was predominantly eaten by the lower classes. However, beginning around 1750, and thanks at least in part to the wide availability of inexpensive and nutritious potatoes, European peasants with greater food security no longer found themselves at the mercy of the regularly occurring grain famines of the time.
So only the poor people used to really eat potatoes in Europe. Because the rich people, again, were very bored with potatoes. They thought they were boring and ugly. So only the poor people used to really eat potatoes. But this made them grow more and stronger. And even if there was no food, the potato was enough food because you can do a lot of things with potatoes. So the poor people in Europe were the ones who actually became really healthy and were able to work very hard.
And so their population steadily grew. As a result, the British, Dutch, and German empires rose on the backs of the growing groups of farmers, laborers, and soldiers, thus lifting the West to its place of world dominion. However, not all European countries sprouted empires. After the Irish adopted the potato, their population dramatically increased, as did their dependence on the tuber as a major food staple. But then disaster struck. From 1845 to 1852, potato blight disease ravaged the majority of Ireland's potato crop, leading to the Irish potato famine, one of the deadliest famines in world history. Over 1 million Irish citizens starved to death, and 2 million more left their homes behind. But of course, this wasn't the end for the potato. The crop eventually recovered, and Europe's population, especially the working classes, continued to increase. Aided by the influx of Irish migrants, Europe now had a large, sustainable, and well-fed population.
All right, because potatoes were so healthy, the population means how many people in a country. Because many people could eat, their populations grew bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And then after that, they started spreading the potato around because the potato is a really healthy thing to eat.
Who were capable of manning the emerging factories that would bring about our modern world. idea of the Industrial Revolution. So it's almost impossible to imagine a world without the potato. Would the Industrial Revolution ever have happened? Would World War II have been lost by the Allies without this easy-to-grow crop that fed the Allied troops? Would it even have started? When you think about it like this, many major milestones in world history can all be at least partially attributed to the simple spud from the Peruvian hilltops.
Alright, so we can see how potatoes really changed our world, right? They made it easy for poor people to eat, people who didn't have a lot of money. Alright, and grade 6 is here so we can actually get started with our second part of the presentation. So, how many of you remember going across to the field to plant the potatoes? Who doesn't remember? Alright, yeah, of course. Alright, so we all went over there to plant the potatoes. So today we're going to learn about how potatoes affect our different parts of the world, right? We're going to see how potatoes affect Taiwan, how they affect Malawi, Canada, South Africa, and America, because that's where your teachers all come from, right? So, a quick history, alright? So, like we said before, potatoes came from a country called Peru. Peru is in South America, alright? And they believe that it started in Peru, like people in Peru started growing the potatoes. And then when the explorers came to Peru, they took some of the potatoes back with them. And that's how potatoes started spreading, right? So later on, we're going to learn how potatoes came to Taiwan. And we're going to learn how potatoes came to all the different countries where your teachers are from. So, to get us started, we're going to start with Taiwan. And here to introduce the importance of potatoes to Taiwan and how potatoes came to Taiwan is the farmers who own the farm that we came from. So I want you guys to clap your hands really loud for Mr. Xu.
现在介绍我们马铃薯的生产过程。马铃薯别名叫洋芋，它茄科为草本植物，原生南美洲及原的地区。它有蛋白质、淀粉、氨基酸、矿物质、维生素 C、B1， 还有6。按专业栽培要3年。马铃薯生产期短，近年栽培稳定，生产都是。它的品种有早生期跟中晚期，它的属肉有白色跟黄色。它目前繁殖有克尼伯及种苗2号。马铃薯适合在生长在气候比较凉冷的天气。种植的时候，我们先从冰库拿出来，在整地时，它的间距要朝30公分至25公分。而且在切块1-2天之后，就把它种下去。它在3-4天之后就灌溉。它的栽培管理，防止熟肉，栽培大约有21至28天之后，就开始第一次培土。种植前，它生产土壤繁殖，以生理基作业把它培养起来。种植后。4周株份约15至25公分，施肥开始建株，配合种根培土作业。坛子基盛产大概有250甲，年产量约6000公吨，年产量约全台5大。我们每餐只吃的全脂牛奶、马铃薯，可以到人体需要的营养。马铃薯怎么保存呢？它就是不要透光，不然它会变绿色的，不能吃。它买回来可以常保存超3个月。马铃薯料理，由于它马铃薯清洗后，由刀下之后切片，用厨房直接轻轻按压多余的水分吸干，再用盘子拨橄榄油，马铃薯切片。并由盐巴、胡椒粉微波后3分钟即可食用。
Okay, everybody, please give him one more hand. Thank you. All right. Okay, so like we said, we're going to keep introducing how potatoes came to different parts of the world. So the next country we're going to introduce is Canada, and Mr. Gordon is going to present that for us.
Hi. They came from the British. Okay, Canada has British and French background. The people who came from Europe, and they brought them to New Brunswick, which is on the Atlantic side, the east side of Canada. Okay, it came to New Brunswick in about the 1600s, okay, mid-1600s. And now, Canada is the 13th largest producer of potatoes in the world. Now, because it's so popular, French fries, frozen potato products, mainly French fries, Canada has become one of the biggest countries in the world, only after the Netherlands, shipping it out to other parts of the world. Who knows this dish over here? Who's actually eaten it? It's called poutine. It's the other dishes are American or British, shepherd's pie, things like that. They actually came from other countries. So this one is really Canadian. Okay? So it has French fried potatoes, and these things are called cheese curds. Actually, to make cheese, you have to put stuff into the milk that makes it curdle up, stick to itself, and it looks like this in the end. And then they squish it together and put it into a special cloth, and then it ages, and it becomes cheese. But this is the first step. This is what it actually looks like, and they're very wet. And when you bite into them, they're like kind of rubbery. It squeaks when you bite into them. Yeah, it's kind of fun. So, and then the brown stuff here is called gravy. Okay, so it's hot and melts. The cheese melts into the French fried potatoes, and the gravy makes it taste nice and salty and very delicious. Now, this is just another kind of poutine here at the bottom. There's an animal called a lobster. You guys know what a lobster is? Yes. It has big claws, like a crab, but longer tail, big claws, red color when you cook it. So this one is lobster poutine. It's poutine like the traditional, and they add lobster. And there are many other kinds where they add different things to the poutine. Okay? The other foods, the baked potatoes are very famous, mashed potatoes and others. They have that in other countries, but this is uniquely Canadian.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gordon. Can we give a big hand to Mr. Gordon? All right. A quick reminder, you really have to pay attention because we're going to have a game after this. And that's how you're going to make a lot of points for your houses. So pay attention when your teachers are talking. All right, up next we have, who's from Malawi? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so Malawi. All the potatoes from Malawi actually came from the British, right? The British colonized Malawi. Colonized means they came from Britain and they built their cities, what we call colonies, in Malawi. So a lot of our food is kind of British, right? And this is why we also speak English, all right? So, a lot of Malawans did not take potatoes very seriously until maybe like the 1960s. That's when people realized, oh wow, these potatoes are actually very healthy and very good to eat, all right? Out of the whole of sub-Africa, which all you need to know is just like pretty much half of Africa, Malawi is the biggest producer of potatoes. They make and grow and export the most potatoes, all right? Mr. Gordon said Canada is number 13 in the whole world in producing potatoes. Malawi is number 17th in the whole world. That means out of all the hundreds of countries in the world, Malawi is number 17 that produces the most potatoes. Alright? In Malawi, they speak a language called Chichewa. In Chichewa, to say potato, they say batata. Can everybody say that for me? Batata. One more time. Batata. Faster. Batata. Faster. Batata. Alright, don't forget that. Batata. Alright? Alright, very good. Alright, so because we are colonized by the British, we don't have a lot of potato traditional dishes. But we have something called chiwaya. And this is just fried potatoes. They use special spices and then they soak the potatoes in the spices, then they cut them up like big fries. And they fry them in oil. And they call this chiwaya. And of course, just regular potato wedges. The same ones you would find in the UK, in England, right? Because we were colonized by the English. But we also have a lot of companies that make different snacks from the potatoes. Alright? So as you can see here, many different kind of snacks come from Malawi's potatoes. Alright, very good. Which teacher of ours comes from the United States? Mr. Risoma, who do you think is going to come and present for us? You're all wrong. Let's welcome Miss Malindi.
Can we also give Mr. Tamby a round of applause first? Mr. So's practicing. Okay, so potatoes were first discovered in the Americas, as Mr. Tamby said earlier, somewhere around 7,000 years ago or longer, in Peru. They then left South America with the explorers, went to Europe, and then came back in 1621 to the governor of Virginia, Jamestown. And but the first lasting potato patches were not producing until 1790 in most likely New Hampshire, but in New England, so around New York City. From New Hampshire, it spread west across the country, and now the biggest producer of potatoes in the U.S. is the state of Idaho. We have lots of dishes, but I wouldn't necessarily call them traditional, because like most things in America, it came from somewhere else first. So we have French fries, which y'all know, hash browns, which I know Mr. Rousseau is a big fan of, scalloped potatoes, which has lots of cream and cheese, bacon in the oven, baked potatoes, which people make lots of different ways. We have baked potato bars in the States where you go and put cheese and bacon and lettuce and anything you want on a baked potato. Mashed potatoes, which we eat when? Not where. When? Christmas or Thanksgiving. Yes, we eat potatoes. You can eat them other times. Sure, why not? People use like candy more, but they will. You can eat mashed potatoes anytime. Potato chips were invented by accident in New York State in 1853 because a customer at a restaurant.
All right, guys, please respect Miss Malindi and be quiet. Thank you.
Thank you. Because a customer at a restaurant complained that his French fries were cut too thickly. He didn't like how big they were. So he sent them back to the kitchen. And the guy in the kitchen was upset that the customer had complained, so he chopped them up really, really, really thin, and he cooked them in oil, and he sent them back out, and he thought he would upset the customer, but the customer actually loved them, and that is how potato chips were invented.
Miss Malindi. All right. Up next, we have South Africa. We have 2 teachers from South Africa, but Miss Watson is going to come and present for us now. And she's going to speak in an African language.
Not true.
Not true. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, hi guys. I'm going to talk to you about South Africa and how we use potatoes in South Africa. Has anybody been to South Africa before? Who's been to South Africa? Raise your hand. Did you eat potatoes there? No? Oh, you're missing out. You're missing out. Okay, let's find out about the history. How did potatoes get to South Africa? Alright, it says potatoes originated from the Americas. Okay, do you guys remember how Mr. Tandy was talking about how potatoes got to Malawi? Who remembers where they came from?
British.
That's right. So South Africa is right by Malawi. It's also in the bottom of Africa, the bottom half of Africa. So we also got our potatoes from America originally, and then they went to Europe, and then they came to Africa. It says, according to legend, the first potatoes for planting in South Africa came from Holland. Who knows what the other word for Holland is?
Netherlands?
The Netherlands. Who knows about the Netherlands?
Soccer.
Do you know what country that is? The Netherlands? How do you say that in Chinese? Okay, so we can call it the Netherlands or Holland. Is that Holland? Okay, so it came from Holland to provide food for mariners visiting the Cape. Since then, the potato industry has grown to become one of the most important food providers in South Africa. And it says the most common potato varieties grown in South Africa are what? Oh, and? Sifra. Oh, Taylor, you win all the points. And the special clue is ZXXCX. I don't know what that means. Okay, here are some traditional dishes from South Africa. So in South Africa, we call our country the Rainbow Nation because there are so many different people from so many different parts of the world who've all come together. So we have lots of different kinds of ways and influences from other countries. Who can guess what this is?
Potatoes.
It's here.
Potato salad. Potato salad.
Potato salad. Potato salad. Cooked potatoes that have cooled, then mixed with anything. Boiled eggs, mayonnaise, bacon, or pickles. So you cook the potato, chop it up, mix with some mayonnaise. You can put onion, bacon, whatever you want. Right? Potato salad. Who can guess what this one is? Ah, you got it. It's curried potatoes. Potatoes are often in curries to absorb, take in the taste. Who can guess what this one is? Yeah, it says here potato stew. Stewed meat with roasted potatoes. Potatoes cooked in an oven, usually with butter, lemon, or spices served with stew. Okay. And who knows what this one is? Potato in a pot? Yes? The answer is here. What do you think it's called? Oh, okay, good. Potatoes in, it's called a potjie. Potjie means small pot. That's in Afrikaans, the South African language. Potjie. Okay, can I tell you what a potjie is? Listen up, listen up. Okay, potjie is a traditional South African food. If you go camping and you don't have an oven or a stove, you can just make a fire. You put this huge, heavy pot on top of the fire, and you just put a bunch of food in. Whatever you have, you can put some meat, some potatoes, some onions, some carrots. Whatever you have, you just throw it in there, and you just leave it for hours on the fire. And when you open it up, everything is mixed together, and it's kind of like a stew, but it's a traditional South African stew. Okay, so these are our 4 traditional South African dishes.
Alright, thank you, Miss Watson. Alright. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys learned something about the different ways different countries use potatoes. So, hope you've been listening. We're going to play a quick game. Alright? The game is simple. You're going to sit with your houses. Your captain is going to have A buzzer. Grade 6ers know how to use this, and grade 6ers are the captains. So your captains will each have a buzzer. We will ask a question. When I say go, you can press the buzzer if your team knows the answer. But you have 10 seconds to answer the question. If you cannot answer the question, you are disqualified. Then I answer the question again. I ask the question again, and you must try to answer it again. But if I ask the question and you press the buzzer before I say go, your house is disqualified from that question. Please wait for me to say, please wait for me to say what? Beautiful. All right.
Say beautiful.
So can I have the 4 captains to the front, please? All right, no, the captains, you're going to stand with your houses because it is teamwork. So you guys can move and be close to your captains. You can move and be close to your captains. Which house is over here? Red house. Red house takes the orange one. Go over there with your house. Blue house, you can move closer to be closer to your captains.
Greenhouse, I'm gonna go right here.
Captains, try to be in the front a bit. Let your team come to you because of the range. Captains, come to the front, please. Olivia. Sorry, not Olivia. Leo, press your button, please. Okay. Press your button. Good. Press your button. Okay. Olivia, press your button for me, please. Press it, press it, press it. Okay, perfect. Alright, are we ready? This will figure it out. Alright, no touching this one, no, so I'm gonna move it here. If you eyes on me. Try not to reach over this, please. If you buzz and you don't know the answer, once you buzz, all right? So, Sandy, buzz for me, please. Hear that? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, time's up. So you have 10 seconds to answer once you buzz. Understand? All right, here we go. Question number 1. Ready? Blue is disqualified. I did not say go. All right, ready, set, go. Yellow. British. Question number 1. The British, correct. That was yellow. All right, ready? Ready, go. Green. The French. Let me double check. Incorrect. Incorrect. Okay. Alright, so you are disqualified. Alright? Who brought the potato into Canada? Ready? and mayonnaise, correct. How long ago did they find potatoes in South America? Ready? Go. Blue. Say again? 16,000. Let me check. Incorrect. So blue, you are disqualified. One more. How long ago did they find potatoes in South America? Go. Green. 7,000 is correct. So green. Alright, ready?
Okay, listen up. 马铃薯为什么发芽不能吃？
Go. Green.
你要讲出里面那个化学的东西。
Alright, green time is up. Disqualified. Here we go again. Michelle.
马铃薯为什么发芽不能吃？
Go. Orange. Alright. Incorrect. Time is up. Let's give.
双回激素。双回激素。
Alright, so nobody gets a point there. Alright, here we go. Next one. Quiet. Quiet. Blue house. What food was invented by mistake or an accident? Ready? Go. Green. Potato chips is correct. Alright. Alright. Where in Canada did they first start growing potatoes? Oh, blue, you are disqualified. Please wait for me to say go. Where in Canada did they first start growing potatoes? Go. Green. East side. I need the actual name of the place, please. So green, you are just, Ottawa. Alright, ready? One more time. Where in Canada did they first start growing potatoes? Go. Yellow. Wrong. That's perfect. Alright, the correct answer is New Brunswick. New Brunswick is the correct answer. Alright, next question.
马铃薯由哪一国人引进到台湾的？
Ready? Go! Yes. Holland is correct. Very good. Very good. What position or rank is Malawi in terms of potato production in the world? What number is Malawi when it comes to potato production? Ready? Ready? Green, disqualified. Ready? Go! 17. Alright, here we go. Eyes on Nick. If you're yelling, you cannot hear anything. Where do potatoes originate from? When did they start? Where did they first use potatoes? Ready? Go! Where in South America? Peru, correct. All right. And that was our last question. But there will be a few bonus questions later. So far, red house, 3,000. Green and yellow, 2,000. And blue, 1,000. You still have a chance. There is a few bonus questions. And I will ask the first bonus question. Bonus question number 1. You really need to listen. Wait for me to say go. How do they say potatoes in Malawi? Ready? Go. Matata. There we go. All right. We're going to invite our potato farmers. They have a couple more bonus questions. So same rules apply. Listen, wait for the go, press the button, win the points.
What is your
等一下，有2针来会有5个问题送给马铃薯面，这个是我们韩子龙会所生产的马铃薯面哦，很好吃哦。我问马铃薯刚刚那个问题。
Remember, before you press, please wait for him to say what? Go. Exactly.
马铃薯是由哪一国所引进来台湾的？Go。
He's gonna ask it all. Green. Correct. Alright. So, listen. We are not adding the points here because this cannot add any more points. But Ms. Sharon is adding the points on the paper. Alright, ready? Next question.
第2个问题，马铃薯生产期要几天才能采收 ？Go。
Blue.
答对了。
Alright, very good. Correct. 3 months.
马铃薯可以做什么料理？2个。Go。
Blue.
答对了。
Alright, yeah. Alright. Listen.
第4个问题，马铃薯我们在种的时候，间距要几公分 ？Go。
Green.
再说一次。答对了。
Alright, that's right. question. Guys, last
第五个问题
question.
哦，第五个问题，马铃薯在台湾繁殖、种植人含第几？够。
Wait. No, green is disqualified. Alright.
第几？小朋友第几？够。
Blue.
第几？答对了。
Alright.
小朋友。
Alright, can I have everybody go back to your seats, please? Our total scores are Yellow House, 2,000. Red House, 4,000. Green House, 4,000. And Blue House, 4,000. Alright, so very good to all the houses. At this moment, I would like the captains to please come up here. Captains, please come help me with something. Thank you, captains.
Everyone has to speak Chinese right here, okay? First of all, I want to translate. Thank you. 你们知道你们种了 potato 后 ，potato 发生什么事情吗 ？So who helped them? Did you guys go water the potato? Did you guys do take care of the potatoes? 请问你们有去照顾、有去浇水吗？那它会凭空长大吗？会是谁说的？好，很好。那 Brian， 我明天给你一个 potato 的 seed， 请你不要动它，我要2月份看到它凭空长大。好哈，如果没有怎么办？好 I will talk to him anyway. Okay, so you guys know that's wrong. You cannot see the potato grow up without water, without taking care of that, right? Yes. 那请问你们知道是谁每天浇水、照顾、施肥？谁？OK， 农夫。所以我们今天要做一件事情。I will invite Captain to we will invite Captain to do something.
Yes, we're going to invite the captains to come and give a gift to say thank you for the teachers coming to teach us and share their time with us. Okay?
Okay, so when you see that, please clap your hands. 用你最大的掌声，谢谢我们的农夫女仆。
Alright, when I count to 3, Alright, on 3, I'll say 1, 2, 3, when we're all going to say thank you in English and in Chinese. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Alright, very good. Captains, look at this feet. There we go. Thank you. Alright, captains, thank you very much. Potatoes. Alright, by then our potatoes will be ready for picking, and maybe don't eat them yet. Maybe take them home, cook them, then eat them. Alright, don't eat them once you pick them, that's probably not healthy. Alright, so, homerooms, you are free to take your kids. So what